Welcome to the Telephoto channel. Nice to see you here, both the old-time friends and new viewers. Today I'm presenting my Tamron 90mm f2.8 macro lens. It's available for Canon, Nikon, Minolta Sony and Penatax Samsung mounts. My version is for Nikon. This lens works for both film and digital cameras, crop sensor and full frame. I mostly do landscape photography with occasional telephoto work. I recently started to look in the other direction too. Not what's on the horizon, but also what's right in front of me. The 90mm macro lens seemed like a great option, and I've been experimenting with this lens for quite some time. I'm showing you sample pictures throughout this video taken with this lens attached to my Nikon D3400 and hand-holding the camera. Hand-holding because you won't have time to set up your tripod anyway when you see an insect land on a flower for a brief second. This is not to say that macro photography is something that will get you great results quickly. It certainly takes practice to get the focus right. Even if the shaking is under control, most often the camera's focus will miss or your manual focus will miss. This is because the depth of field is so incredibly shallow. You may have something in perfect focus, but if your camera moves just a few millimeters away from the perfect focus before you press the shutter release, the result is no good. You typically need to take a lot of pictures before one turns out okay. I like maybe every 50th picture that I take, considering all aspects of photo quality. I initially thought that the maximal aperture of f2.8 was not large enough, and with extreme close-up the maximal aperture gets even smaller, just 5.6. This really is not a problem because in macro photography the f-stop has a bit different feel. Even f10 still makes a major distinction between the two eyes of a mosquito when you're maximally close to it. You need to start thinking if you want the left or the right eye to be in focus, because you cannot get both. Limitations of optics kick in. Nothing to do about that other than to use it to your benefit. People often wonder if a macro lens makes a good telephoto lens. Yes, it can be used as a telephoto. I like doing it because the pictures have a unique character, different from your typical telephoto lens. The problem you have is firstly the focusing speed that tends to be kind of slow for typical telephoto work. The autofocus keeps searching for the focusing point a bit too long before it finds it. Secondly, the macro lens is designed for focusing on the nearby objects. You turn the focusing ring a lot and the focus nearby changes just a little. But as you move to more distant objects, such as a forest far away, all of a sudden very small changes in turning the focusing ring make sudden changes in focus. Of course, your depth of field for those faraway objects is also much greater, so there's no problem there. The large apertures will give you nice creamy bokeh too. This lens is not bad at all for portraits. In fact, it's really nice for it. Let's take a look at the lens too. The lens mount is made of metal, but the lens is mostly all plastic, but it feels nice and sufficiently high quality. I kinda like the golden ring around it and also the little plastic covered window that shows the distance to the point in focus. What's quite unique about it is how you switch between manual and autofocus. This is done by pushing and pulling the focusing ring. It reminds me of a pump shotgun, because why not? A blue mark shows if you have the lens at auto or manual focus. The focus ring is large and smooth and does not turn during autofocusing. There's one more button with two settings, limit and full. This is to reduce focus hunting. When it's set at limit, it will not search the whole range, but limits the closest focusing distance to roughly 25 centimeters from the lens. I keep my lens at full and it works fine for me in every situation. The shortest focusing distance is about 9 centimeters. The first glass element is recessed into the lens for about 4 centimeters. This means that the first glass element can be 13 centimeters from your subject at best. The deeply hidden glass makes a lens hood largely unnecessary, yet the lens comes with a nice hood. The lens extends about 5 centimeters as you focus on the closest object, so make sure you don't bump into what you're photographing. The filter size is 55 millimeters. The autofocus is not fast because the lens uses a normal old-fashioned motor. Autofocusing is not quiet either. I always find the sweet spot for all of my lenses by photographing paintings. I have a link down below on how exactly I measure the sweet spot. I positioned the lens 2.2 meters from a painting to get f2.8 for the largest aperture. This is what I saw. The sharpness climbs all the way to 13 and then goes back again. My experiment suggests that this lens has got a flat sweet spot region of 10 to 13. The images are sharp across the entire frame and diffraction is not an issue before f16. Overall, this lens is a winner. It's been around for a long time and still going strong against the competition. When there's seemingly nothing to photograph, all you have to do is pull out your 90mm Tamron and look around you, and you'll find all kinds of photo ops left and right. I find the lens fun to use and nicely sharp. I like its relatively small size and low price point as well. Get this lens and it won't disappoint you. Thanks so much for spending your valuable time with me. If you consider subscribing to my channel, I'll be really happy. I hope to see you again in my future and past videos. Enjoy your photography. Until the next time. Bye.